So hey everybody, welcome here into the Norwegian wilderness.
Hello everyone.
With Eleni and me, we're going to go through some questions that you guys had for us. Some from Facebook, some from Instagram, and some from right here on YouTube. So we just wanted to address these questions and talk about our experiences, especially in regards to our trip down to Greece, which was quite an amazing adventure.
Yeah.
And you guys saw it on the video that we posted a few weeks ago. And if you didn't, you can rewind back, go on my profile and find that video before you watch this Q&A, and we might answer your questions. So I have the questions here on my phone, so we're going to cheat a little bit by having the questions right here, but
it's all right.
It's all right, it's all right. Okay, so first question. It comes from Facebook, and it's what made you interested in overlanding? And I think it's me that got you into overlanding.
Big time.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I was interested in overlanding.
You probably didn't even know what it was.
No, I
to
didn't.
begin with. Yeah.
No.
So for me, it all started when I was watching YouTube, like many of you guys many years ago, watching like The Story Till Now, Overland, like different big channels that really got me interested. I always been interested in outdoor living, like wilderness, going hiking with a tent and just being outdoors. But the thought of like blending, like in rigged, pretty cool, like overland vehicle like we got now, right? With being outdoors and enjoying and exploring massive distances. Not only the distances you can cover by feet, which is still long, but the fact you can drive like hundreds and thousands of kilometers and see new territories is very, very interesting to me. So I think that's where it all came from.
Yeah. Well, you showed me the way. I didn't know how it would be.
Yeah.
I was very scared.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I didn't know what to expect, for sure.
You were quite nervous, to be honest. I was nervous.
Very
it was
nervous.
my first ever adventure down to Greece.
Yeah.
But yeah, not as nervous as you.
No.
But what we had of nervousness and excitement, I think we nailed it, and we adapted quite well. And especially, I'm very proud of you. Never having been outdoors before, but I think we'll get back to the question.
We'll come back to that, yes.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. The next question is, why did you decide on going on these places for your road trip? And well, it's quite simple. I'm from Norway, so we started off in Norway. You live in Greece, so we just wanted to go from Norway to Greece because that's where the love has to travel every day between us.
We had to find a way to go from where you are to where I am.
Yeah.
So it would be the shortest way, but also the most scenic way, if possible.
Of course, I mean, when you do this kind of a road trip, it's kind of like a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You want to make sure you go to the countries you want to go to. We had some stops along the way that we really needed to do. Like in Germany, we had to go by there to get the tent. But you can, when you go from Norway to Greece, there are a couple of options. You can go from Sweden down to Poland with the ferry. You can drive through like Czech Republic, Serbia, and come down to like Bulgaria and Romania.
Yeah.
Romania and Bulgaria, and then end up in North Greece. But we decided to take another way because we really wanted to see Italy.
Yes.
You're part Italian.
Yeah, I'm part Italian. I've never been to Italy, but the southern part. But we will save this journey for another time, like southern Italy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But the reason why we didn't go through Romania and stuff, it was because we wanted to visit Zakynthos as well, right?
Yeah, so we wanted to end up on the west coast of Greece very quickly to go to Zakynthos, which has been on my mind since the beginning of my dreams about overlanding. But we're gonna return to that for sure. And we wanted to go like through Italy, like the Austrian Alps, of course, amazing territory. To see Italy from the north all the way down to Brindisi. And see Italy from the countryside, and not take the highways because we decided to trade speed for beauty, as you could hear in the previous video. Yeah, so we went down to Greece. We tried to cover as much of Greece as we could in the time that we had, which is not easy in the summer when the temperature reaches 40 degrees, but we managed quite well. And on the way back, we decided to do like the Balkan tour of like Albania, Montenegro,
Croatia,
Slovenia. And then we ended up in the Dolomites.
Yes.
Which also is a place we really want to go back to and explore more.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So yeah, that's, I think the reason why we chose Greece is because of you. The reason why we started up in Norway is because of me, and the things in between. We just wanted to see as much beauty as we could, and we're gonna do it again, but next time we're gonna choose a different route, I think.
Yes,
to
definitely.
See even more of
We're
Europe.
gonna cover Romania, Bulgaria, these places next time. Yeah.
And spend more time on the road, I think. For
definitely.
Sure. Okay, so the next question is, what was your favorite country and why? And now this is a tricky question because I'm from Norway.
Try not to be biased.
Try not to be biased, and you're from Greece. So for me, my favorite country is of course Norway. Nah. I love Norway, of course, but I'm not going to say the obvious answer. I love Greece, of course. It's my favorite country. But let's choose any other country than Norway and Greece to make it kind of like interesting. The reason why I would say that Greece is my favorite country is the people is amazing. The nature is so varied. You have blue beaches, you have cliffs, you have sea, you have lakes, you have rivers, you have mountains. You have like everything from like how it looks here in Norway. You can find like this kind of place that we're sitting in right now.
In short distances.
In the north of Greece, you can find a place like this. And then you can drive 2 hours and you'll be at the bluest water you ever seen in your life.
Exactly.
So yeah, if we should say one country that were in Greece or Norway, what country do you think it would be?
There's not even a doubt. I would pick Italy.
Yeah?
Yeah. The northern part of Italy that we explored a little bit better and more time. The Dolomites.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't believe my eyes. Like the beauty, the mountains. Because I love mountains. And the mountains over there are just... I don't think... now we're spoiled, right?
Yeah.
We see mountains in other places and we're like, that's nice.
That's nice, but it's not the Dolomites.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
once
insane.
you see the Dolomites, very few things compare. I mean, the Norwegian fjords with the mountains going straight into the sea, that's
different.
That's different, but the sheer scale of the mountains of the Dolomites is incredible.
Yeah.
And also Vikos Gorge, of course, but that's Greece still.
That's
right?
Greece, yes. We have to pick something else than Norway and Greece.
Same for me. I mean, Italy is totally mind-blowing. It's crazy. It's a very varied country too. I would say there are some parts that I didn't like quite so much, but there are parts that I really loved. And the villages in the Dolomites and this region, and also down south that we're going to explore more.
Yes.
It's going to be very exciting. And one thing that I really was surprised about in Italy.
The roads.
The roads were pretty bad.
What else?
No, but one thing that really surprised me was
pizza.
I've always heard about Italian pizza, and I thought, let's try it. You know, it must be good. It must be good. How wrong was I, huh? It was not good. It was freaking insane. It's the best pizza I ever had in my life.
Ever. Wherever we went.
Yeah, we went to many places to have pizza. Because when you're on the road and you try to cover a lot of distance every day, we did eat in restaurants every now and then just to, refuel ourselves. And in Italy, of course, you get the pizza. And the pizza was simply amazing. So if you ever go to Italy, guys, make sure you have pizza. And I think that goes without saying. You don't go
that's
to
not
Italy.
even a tip. Like it's a given.
That's a given. And then we are over to the next question, which is the most challenging part about being on the road.
Many challenges.
Oh yeah, but the most challenging one though.
The most challenging was the heat.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Like
for this road trip, it was definitely the heat.
Oh yeah, because it was summertime. We were in Italy. We were in Greece most of the time. So that was extremely challenging, like being able to have a comfortable sleep when at night it's 30 degrees and the humidity is like how much, 70-80%?
Yeah.
It was suffocating.
Oh yeah.
So after a very tiring day traveling, being on the road, you just want to stop, and sleep. But this was not possible always.
No,
It wasn't that easy.
wasn't. No, it was not easy. And even when you're driving in this heat, especially in the Jeep and probably in every other car, even if when it's 40 degrees, you have air conditioning on in the car, you can still feel the heat of the sun through the windows
Yeah.
on the car.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect it to be that warm, even if we had the air conditioning on maximum
Oh
capacity.
yeah, in Mani it was 42, I think, the maximum.
Yeah.
And air condition was maximum, and
Yeah.
we could still feel the heat from outside.
Oh yeah, and like you say, like having to when you drive like 4 hours per day and you get to the camp and then you have to start working in the heat, and even if you get there after sunset, it's still very warm. It's more than 30 degrees.
Yeah.
Very high humidity. What you want to do is like just have a camper van at that point and just get into the bed, or like
Yeah.
just get yourself an ice cold beer and sit down and don't do nothing. But when you're doing overlanding with a rooftop tent, there are a couple of things that need to happen before you have the luxury of sitting down to relax.
This is when you appreciate sitting down and relaxing.
Oh yeah.
When you have worked hard to find a place, become comfortable, and say, now I can relax.
Yeah, it's that feeling of cracking that first beer. I don't know if you can talk about that on YouTube, by the way. But when you can crack,
Alcohol-free beer.
yeah, of course, alcohol-free.
Anyway, doesn't
Anyways,
matter.
that feeling when you crack that open and have that first sip of ice cold beverage when you get to the camp and everything is set up, that is unbeatable.
Priceless.
That is priceless, yeah. That's a good feeling
Yeah.
right there. Absolutely. So to Eleni,
Oh,
yeah. So this is a question to you specifically, because we dived into this being your first ever time outdoors camping in the wilderness,
yeah.
off the grid. So how was this experience for you?
Well, I was really scared. I honestly thought that it wouldn't work for me. Because I haven't done this before. I never even camped on a tent before. I didn't even spend the night outdoors in nature. So, and I'm quite spoiled with my routines and my skincare and my hair and getting ready and everything like that. So it was quite scary. I knew I had to adjust, change my ways, minimize the time it takes me to get ready in the morning. But I still wanted to keep these routines because I know that this is what makes me feel good starting my day.
Absolutely.
But in the end, it was all good, no surprises. And as I have said many times, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have done this. I wouldn't have trusted someone traveling 11,000 kilometers throughout Europe for
Yeah.
the first time.
Nah, that's...
So, yeah, it went well.
It went very well, and yeah, I'm very proud of you.
And I will do it again.
Yeah, and we did it again in the winter, huh?
Yes.
This winter we went through Norway with
Yeah.
minus 25.
Oh,
So it was minus 25 degrees outside. We had a diesel heater in the tent, so we were able to keep warm.
yeah,
But I think that was like on the other side of the spectrum.
yes.
Then
From
the
extreme
cold.
heat to extreme cold.
Yeah, but still the temperature being the biggest challenge though, right?
Yes, in both
Absolutely.
cases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you had your first night's sleep outside, outdoors, we were in Italy, in the
Yes,
mountains there.
yeah.
Just entered Italy. What was going through your mind at that point when you were going to bed?
That night in Italy, I was mostly excited because I never did it before. We were quite tired. So I wasn't really preoccupied by how I'm going to wake up, when I'm going to go, how I'm going to brush my teeth, all these details. It was more exciting when we were there. I thought that other things are more important than how I'm going to brush my teeth and how I'm going to remove my lenses and put them back on and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
was very nice. I mean, sleeping outside in nature is incredible.
Did you at any point have a night with no sleep in the tent?
No sleep.
Yeah.
Did we?
I don't think we didn't.
No,
we both sleep
very
well.
few hours, yes, but not
Yeah.
no sleep at all.
We're quite like, we sleep deeply, both of us. And we were so tired on the trip that we kind of like just fell asleep anyways.
Yeah.
It was a lot of new things for us, a very steep learning curve, and a lot of, your brain is working all the time when you're driving, and you're working as well. which is
yeah.
crazy because you didn't have a day off.
Oh yeah, I was working. I mean, my real job, because people are asking, how are you able to do that on the
Yeah.
road so long? I work remotely, so I had to stay and I had to keep on working. So luckily I had internet connection wherever we went. And I was with my laptop working while he was driving most of the time.
Yeah. While I was driving, she was sitting next to me on the laptop like all the time working, and
Yeah.
that is impressive because
Yes.
I would get nausea from not looking at on the road, but you just kept on going, kept
You
on going.
eventually get used to it.
Oh, yeah.
In the start, I was a little bit nauseous, but then it's like your brain tells you, you're fine now. You got used to it.
You get it. You
Yeah,
got it.
you got it.
You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. No, so no sleep with no night with no sleep in the tent. We had some limited sleep some days, you know, when you were driving far and we had to get up. I would say like the worst one was probably when we were going back from this adventure.
In Germany.
Yeah. And on the last few days, I was already overtime getting back to work. I was like 5 days late for getting back to work. And on the way through Germany, we drove like massive distances. I think the first day was like 10 hours.
Yeah.
And we didn't know where to find the spot to sleep. So we just ended up sleeping outside a cemetery.
Yes, it was.
And we
a
got there
cemetery.
very late, after midnight, I believe.
Yeah.
And up again at 6 o'clock and off on the road. And then the last day I did 13 hours of driving with only 6 hours of sleep and 10 hours of driving the day before that. So that was
Until
pretty
we
crazy.
reached Norway.
Until we reached
Yeah.
Norway, yeah.
Oh, it started raining. Nice.
Did it? We need to take a break. No, wait, leave it. I wish I had a bag or something for the
In weather, really.
Okay, I want to get a screen that is like towards us, you know?
Yes.
That'd be nice. Okay, so on to the next question. Did he do any harder off-road on this trip and how did he go? So I think that's a question for me. We did some harder off-road in some areas, especially in Greece where it's very open to go off-road. Specifically in Zakynthos, we went off-road on some pretty crazy paths, I would say, like all dirt roads that were washed out with some obstacles. It's nothing like rock rolling or anything like that. It was very doable with our rig. We have only 34-inch tires, no lockers, just limited slip diff differentials. And it performed very well, but it's a Jeep and the Jeep is made for off-roading. However, the biggest challenge we had when it really went south was when we entered Peloponnese, and it was at night. We had been driving through the day. We arrived there at dark, and we went to a beach where we were planning on sleeping on the beach. And not knowing the conditions, I did something, quite bad. I just went for it without checking the surface, nothing. And we didn't have a compressor, so I didn't let the air out of the tires. So I went onto the sand with high pressure in the tires, and we dig down immediately. The sand was so loose, it was like...
They were buried.
Yeah, it was not this finest sand, and it wasn't like a pebble beach, but it was like this granular sand that was like sugar almost, and we like kind of dug down into it. And it was quite hot still. I think it was like 30 degrees, and the humidity was quite high. And, we tried to dig through it, and... we got stuck, and I tried to dig out with the shovel. We used the max tracks. You helped.
I was digging as well.
Yeah, and I left you outside the car when I was trying to get out, and I spinned the wheel so much the sand was flying up, and you got it all stuck in your hair, I think.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was stuck everywhere, actually.
Yeah, and we were like quite worried
Yeah.
about how is this gonna go.
Yeah, but because it was quite late, it was our plan initially to camp there, so this wouldn't happen. We didn't know if we would get unstuck anytime soon.
Yeah,
We were very tired.
very
as
tired,
well.
very tired. But we kept
So,
focused on the
yeah.
most important things, and I think that's one of our strengths. When things are going a little bad, we were able to like stay focused on the
Keep our cool.
Yeah, and not lose our heads, let's say. And when we were there, we saw a flashlight in the distance, and it was
Yeah.
a Greek guy coming towards us. We're like, oh shit, we're in it now. This guy's gonna tell us off. He's gonna call the police. Whatever. That was my worries. But no, he just wanted to help us out. He thought the Jeep was cool, and he helped us get unstuck in a way. He told us where to go. We drove all the way
Closer to the sea.
Yeah. That was the only way we could get out, because there the sand was a little bit wetter, and we had to go around. And he was super friendly. He ran the cantina on the beach.
And he told us that even if we didn't manage to get out on our own, they would he would call someone to pull us out.
What size fridge do you have, and what's the limitations that you had with it? Well, we have a 45-liter fridge from Dometic, like I got into on my previous video about the kitchen setup. So if you're very interested to learn more about the kitchen setup in this Jeep and how we cook on the road and why we decided to do the things that we did on the interior, you can look at that video. I will leave a link here down below. But yeah, it's a 45-liter fridge. It was more than enough space for us. We had ice cubes in there. It's not a dual zone fridge, but we kept it around 0 degrees, so the ice melted a little bit every day.
Yeah, if you have a Ziploc bag and you fill it with ice, you can have ice for a couple of days easily.
Yeah.
It gets a bit watery in the end, but it works really well with ice.
And we had like drinks in there, water, drinkable water, because unlike Norway, when you go down Europe, you need to find water from supermarkets pretty much. So we had to store that in there as well. But yeah, we were able to probably have like 2-3 days worth of food in there.
Yeah.
Which is okay, because when you drive through Europe, it's gonna be like shops every every few kilometers where you can buy the stuff that you need. We just wanted the comfort of having like 3-4 days, if we needed to, if we went off-road into different remote areas, and if we were ever gonna get stuck in an off-grid situation, that we had the stuff we needed to survive.
Yeah.
And then on to the next question. There's a question about the engine in the Jeep in Skadi. So this is Skadi, this is the Jeep. We're gonna do a full tour of the Jeep when everything is done, when we've done all the changes that we want for it this season, like a lift kit and different modifications we're gonna do. I'm gonna do a full tour of the rig. But I can tell you the engine size, it's a 2.2 diesel. It's an engine size that's only in Europe and like some markets around Asia and Australia, but it's an engine that was never for the American market. It is a Fiat engine, so you can think what you want about that. It's I've been worried about it, to be honest, but it's been working well for us. And when we went down in Greece, getting parts, we didn't really need to find any parts, to be honest. And getting parts for it, it's the same as a Stelvio 2.2. So it's a Fiat 2.2 pretty much, so parts across Europe it's pretty easy to find. We did one maintenance when we were down in Greece, and that was like an oil change, and that was the only thing we did. So when we reached Greece, like at the halfway point, I decided to do just an oil change and filter change, just to make sure that the car was optimal for the rest of our journey.
Yeah.
But again, we're gonna go through it in detail in a few weeks. So just subscribe down below if you want to catch that, and you'll see everything that we have been done to the Jeep. And then over to the next question: what is the best and worst part of the entire trip?
The best and worst.
Yeah, I guess we can start with the worst, because it's very easy for me to remember what was the worst part of the trip. So it was when we entered Croatia, and
Yeah.
the first time we ever encountered police on our trip, because I drive slowly. It's a Jeep, it's not a racing car. We were stopping for fuel right as we entered Croatia, and we were going off the fuel station to get onto the road. And it was like you could only turn right, but I didn't see that sign, and it was a chaotic moment, and I decided to go left, which is, of course, not legal, so you should follow the regulations in the country you're in, of course. But I didn't expect to be stopped and pulled over by the police right after. So he comes out of the police car, he goes to the side of the car, is like, "You know what you did wrong?" I'm like, "No, I don't know. Being a Norwegian in Croatia, I don't know." And so it was the fact that we we took the wrong turn off the petrol station.
He was a bit aggressive, for sure. He wasn't really understanding. It felt like he had to give us a fine.
Yeah, and I told him, I tried to explain the situation, and I said, look, I'm from Norway. It's a very strict country where police is quite strict. And I told him that if you take the wrong exit off a petrol station in Norway, the worst thing you're gonna get is a warning.
Yes.
Is what I told him. And he said, yes, but I would give you a warning if you were Croatian, but since you are not from Croatia, you will get the fine.
Explicitly.
That is his exact words.
Yeah, that was so
what
weird.
he said.
That was so weird.
And I said, okay, that's okay. I guess that's the thing. And what are my options? He said, you can deny to pay the fine right here, and I will take your license, and you will have to meet up in court in 7 days, or you will pay it now, and I will give you a discount. I'm like, that is strange. Yeah.
And the offer.
Yeah, that's a strange offer, but I'll take it. And we paid the fine. I was quite upset with it, but yeah, so that was probably the worst part of the experience.
Yeah, and it affected the day from that moment a little bit.
Yeah, I was a
like
little bit
being
pissed off at
upset.
Croatia at that point. I mean, Croatia was a beautiful country.
Amazing.
Amazing scenery, landscapes. And yeah, of course, I would love to be back and explore more. And if there's any Croatians out there watching, if you have any ideas for me to where to go, I would appreciate it. So drop a comment down below. I would love to hear.
And the other part is what's the best?
The best, yeah.
Well, the best is the whole journey, actually.
Oh, yeah.
You cannot just say one thing. It's a combination of everything.
Yeah.
Of traveling, discovering new places, the challenges, and then there is this feeling of insane reward in the end.
Oh, yeah.
Even when you go to sleep. And what's better than going to sleep in the nature with nature sounds?
Yeah, of course. I mean the river in Italy with all these crazy sounds.
There is nothing like that.
The beach in Greece where we had jackals coming at night.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That was crazy.
Oh yeah.
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 Yeah, it's like you say, I mean, the whole trip, like the whole road trip, the whole experience, seeing a new country, like every single meter you drive on that road is a new piece of road you've never seen before.
New experience.
The mountain you see before is a new mountain you've never seen before. The beach you're going to is a beach you've never seen before. Like, so many amazing experiences, so many nice moments to look back at. And even to this day, it's almost a year ago now, but every now and then I get like flashbacks, like, oh my God. I remember driving on this road, it was amazing. Like the feeling I had, I would totally recommend anyone to do this. If you have a feeling like you want to go somewhere, you want to do something, you want to go to a country, you want to pursue like a passion you have, do it. It's at some point it's going to be too late for you to do it. So if you're able to do it right now, do it. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
I mean, don't wait for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment is never gonna happen. The perfect moment is now. That's your perfect moment. And then it's a question that I think we all know the answer to. So what would you do differently on the next adventure to Southern Europe? I think for me, it's a very obvious answer, and it's not to go in July and August.
Yes, no summer.
Summer
Southern
sounds
Europe,
amazing,
no.
and it is amazing when you travel by plane. You go to a hotel, you have air conditioning, you have a pool, you don't have to move a lot, and you have cold beer all the time, or water, alcohol-free beer, soda. You know, it's good to be there in July and August. But when you travel overlanding style, you don't have air conditioning in your tent. It's 30 degrees at night. It's humidity reaching 80 to 90 degrees, 90%, and yeah, like it becomes a struggle. So my recommendation, and probably yours too, is to, if you ever want to go to Southern Europe for adventure, you would have to go between the months of like March to May.
Yeah.
And then
After September.
Yeah, after September
Or
to like
mid-September
November. Yeah,
to
you can also go in
November.
winter. It's going to be quite cold in the mountains. It's probably going to be snow. But if you want like nice summery vibes, like a good summer day in Norway, you can go in like October and it's going to be amazing. You can go in April and it's going to be better than a summer day in Norway. So
quite warm.
yeah,
Can
absolutely.
be quite warm.
So yeah, I think it's time for us to wrap it up soon, huh? It's quite cold now.
It's getting cold.
It's about 3 degrees outside.
And there is snow all around us. I don't know if they can see it in the camera, but
I don't
probably
think you can
not.
see it, but we'll show you guys how it looks. It's still snowy up here in the forest in Oslo, even though it's soon April. The snow is mostly gone, but there are piles of snow in the shadow areas. And it was 12 degrees earlier today. It started raining, and we had to like take a long break. I think we had to break like 40 minutes.
Yeah, for getting the car, get out again, cover the camera.
It was raining like
the
crazy.
Chairs, yeah.
Oh yeah, because like you see on the Jeep, there's no tent, there's no awning right now. We're waiting for some very sick upgrades that I'm really eager to show you guys, but we'll talk more about that later. So let's wrap it up with one last question, which is going to be quite interesting, and it's going to lead us on to another video that we're planning on doing. And it's, why did you get the Jeep? And I think this is a question that many people in Norway is wondering about, because you don't see many overlanding Jeeps in Norway, very few. Most people in Northern Europe, they go for like Hilux or Patrol or, you know, something like that, or Land Cruiser. So it seems like the odd choice out, but when I got interested in the Jeep was in Zakynthos, actually, back to Greece again. It was before I met you, actually. And I was going to Zakynthos and I was renting a Jeep from a buddy of mine over there. And it was a Jeep TJ, completely stuck, but driving around in that Jeep with the roof off, you know, the doors low, and listening to music, driving through the sun, going to these amazing places, going off-road a little bit, exploring with the Jeep. I just looked at this logo on the steering wheel and I'm like, this is it. This is the car that I want to have. And that really got me into Jeeps. And only a half a year later, I got my Jeep here. So I'm very happy about it.
Yeah.
And we're going to dive into it. We're going to make a story about it. We're going to go back to Zakynthos, hopefully very soon. And we're going to show you how
everything started.
How everything started, in what sceneries and,
Yeah.
and with the specific Jeep that I was driving when I got this passion for Jeeps. So I think that sums it up. I think we answered most questions.
Yeah.
If you have any more questions related to our adventure or what we do here in the wilderness with our Jeep, any other questions to Eleni or to me, Tord, you can just drop a comment down below. If you want to see more of this kind of content where we talk about overlanding, where we show our adventures, and where we go across Norway and across Europe, I would subscribe down below, and I would really appreciate it if you press a like on the video. So, and as you know, adventure is out there. Go find it.
Yes, that's nice.
And now it's like not recording. That would be great.
Oh no.